What's the crack, guys? Welcome back to more creepy TikToks, and let's dive in. You know, I thought to myself, that has to be fake, so I actually went ahead and looked it up, and it turns out that it's actually real. It states here that humid air rises to crest altitude, which is cooled and produces rain or rain clouds. It says many natural mountains are sources of rivers and other forms of water and power production, and artificial mountains may provide these services for entire nations in the future. So I honestly did not know that these things existed, but here we are. I see where he's going there. You know, is it Nibiru or is it China's artificial sun? But given with how things have been since 2020, if there was two suns, I mean, would we even be surprised at this point? Like,
this is extremely creepy if you've never seen it before, and frankly, even if you have. In a moment, this is going to start cycling through a bunch of unaltered celebrity photos, but you're going to keep your eyes focused right here in the very middle on this cross. Again, this only works if you keep your eyes focused on the middle at the cross. And what will happen is you will start to see strange distortions on these faces in your peripheral vision. They will start to look monstrous, or they will look like cartoonish caricatures with features that are exaggerated, with big eyes or big jaws or big mouths. Some of you think this is a trick and that these images are distorted, but if you go back and watch it again, you will see they are only distorted in your peripheral vision. If you stop and look at the individual images, they're normal. That is called the flashed face distortion effect, and we actually don't know how it works. The video was made by Tangent Cognitive Labs and it went viral a long time ago. Like, obviously it has something to do with the fact that your peripheral vision is imperfect and your brain is trying to fill in details. And they've done follow-up experiments showing that it doesn't just work with faces. But as for why the brain processes these faces as cartoonish and distorted versus just making them blurry, to this day, nobody's really sure.
you know, they looked a little bit demonic to me, but I wouldn't call that a peripheral vision imperfect. You know, I would call that a demon detector.
And red cabbage. We're having fish taco. Oh shit! Yeah! Oh! 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 Ah! Move!
I mean, some people like their tortilla wraps mild, some like it hot, and some just aren't satisfied until the house is burnt down, so it's just the way it is.
You know about the door theory?
No.
So take this in. Every single door, or like the normal doors they use in a house, they have a cross and a Bible placed into the door. You see it? The symbol of a cross and a Bible are in the door.
I've always noticed that as a kid.
Yeah?
Like like not all doors, but like majority of doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a cross.
The regular door, you know that shape?
Yeah.
So the top part is a cross, and then the bottom is an open Bible. Look at it.
Yeah, no, I do see it like that.
So what they used to do is they made it like that to keep away evil spirits from entering your home.
You know what's crazy?
What?
My old house didn't have that. It was just a wooden. It was just a wooden. Like each was just wooden. That's why I say not all doors.
Yeah.
Because I did like.
It was just flat.
Yeah.
Oh damn! Do you have any like ghost stories at that house?
Man. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool theory. You know, with God, my door, and my demon detector in my noggin, I know that me and my family are safe from demons, so it's all good.
This is the shocking attack on a grandma and her granddaughter in France. A man can be spotted outside the 73-year-old's home in Bordeaux before forcing his way inside and dragging the pair onto the street. He then grabs the girl again, throwing her down the road before running away. It was thought to be a kidnapping attempt gone wrong, and he was arrested later that day.
See, the problem is the law stopped giving a crap about their people. And this is the result of it. People think that they can run riot and do what they want. You know, there was a story about a 15-year-old boy just a few months ago. He was walking through a field alone, and there were 6 or 7 young lads and had their phones out, and they approached him, beat the heck out of him, and ended up his head. And they all eventually got caught. But the punishment they got was an apology letter and a £50 fine. You know, we're talking about for attempted murder here, so make that make sense.
They have faced multiple threats here in the past. So behind us, you can see they built this big fence here. But this morning, police say someone threw a bomb over that fence and onto that side porch.
Yeah, I have no complaints on my side with that one, to be honest. But, you know, everyone deserves to come to Christ, so give them a second chance.
I just walked into the building with this. It's not a gun, but I can do a lot of damage with it.
And at a local PTA meeting in Rocky Point, Long Island, parents and students alike have gathered to discuss ways to do just that.
I'm considerably larger than you, okay?
But after one high school senior finishes telling officials how he's against armed guards in school, a man calls him over.
If something happened, if I decided to attack you, it would take the cops 3 to 5 minutes to come here. Probably 10 if the traffic's bad.
The parent, whose 2 daughters attend the school, has a different opinion on the need for armed guards. And to prove his point, he does something alarming.
What are you gonna do now?
The man pulls out a switchblade, taking the teen off guard.
What are you gonna do now? Stop it!
Shocked by the man's actions, the neighbors are unsure how to handle the situation as the man holds the knife in the air.
I just walked into the building with this. It's not a gun, but I can do a lot of damage with it.
His way of persuasion does not go over well with the students and other parents in attendance.
That's illegal. You can't pull a switchblade out on a kid in a school. That's insane. What do you think, a guy with a gun? No, that's completely illegal. This is why we need security.
That dude at the end of the video crying about the fact that he was holding something illegal. I mean, he completely missed the point there. Like, he really did. You know, I mean, there's 2 kinds of people. You've got a man who wants to protect his children, and then you've got a man who pretends he's a man, but he's not, and cares more about the authoritative figures and his fear of that.
What the hell? No. No, 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 no. Wait, there's nothing new.
That second clip is a reaction your missus makes whenever you leave the toilet seat up. I promised the community many months ago that we would do a show once a week where you guys send in clips or pictures with backstories. So that will be effective from next Saturday onwards and every Saturday after. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and send in your clips or your pictures with backstories to dmreact.clips@gmail.com. And also let me know what your YouTube handle is in each email, and leave a heart comment as well so I can credit you guys for that video. Thank you.
There is a new study that's just come off embargo this very hour, coming out from researchers in McGill, who are warning of microplastics in your tea bag. And let's go to Scott, because he has what is a very interesting breaking story this morning.
Yes, and a somewhat alarming story as well. If Canadians out there like their fancier teas in those silken bags, they could be drinking billions of particles of plastic in every cup they consumed. And this is out from McGill University this morning out of Montreal. And here are the bags. They're the pyramid type of tea bag on higher end teas, on fancier teas, and they're described as silk. And in fact, that silk is a form of plastic contained in water bottles, for example. But unlike water bottles, these bags are submerged in boiling water, and that's potentially releasing, they're saying, billions of micrograms, I should say, or a 60th of a gram of plastic in every single cup. And the McGill survey goes on to say that in water fleas, for example, take a look at this dramatic result, that water fleas eating these microplastic particles the same size as their food, it causes them to act erratically. And so this is an alarming study out this morning from McGill. And the author of the study was surprised at how dramatic, how much plastic these cups of tea contained.
I stopped using tea and coffee because of the caffeine, but you can remove the bag from the tea and just use the loose tea, which will be perfectly fine. But having said that, you know, when we're out and about, we're going to grab a bottle of water, so we're going to be contaminated with microplastics anyways.
Oh, God! Oh, God!
When you go in your daughter's room, and she says, Mommy, you've got a bunch of spiders up there. Little baby's one. And it's like, oh, that's not too bad. It's just like maybe 50, 60. But then she says, look in the other corner. There's more. And they're alive.
Above our headline, so unless you're Shaquille O'Neal, they're not going to bother.
If I had that many spiders in my room, I would march over to those Satanists, grab that bomb, and then chuck it in my house and just blow the whole place up. Here, never mind that top order. That top is stinking high.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody realizes that this is about honest story and what I've learned in Latin America.
Yeah, now
what did you learn? Well, I met with my job. I worked for UNICEF, which is an amazing organization that works in over 150 countries. And my job was to meet with teenagers who were living in exclusion, who were living in extreme poverty or living with HIV, and write their stories, listen to their stories and write them for UNICEF. And so, I mean, I obviously learned so much from these kids. I learned from Anna in particular, who has lived an extremely difficult life. I learned to live each day to its fullest.
Excuse me, Jenny, there's a word you used earlier in the interview about exclusion. Can you explain what that is?
I know a lot of people say that it's just down to the lighting or it's just like the image quality or whatever, but it's just her face that actually morphs. It's nothing else around her. I know it's probably nothing to worry about and it's probably just one of those things, but at the same time, you know, it could be like a trial run or like a test run for like a certain event, you know. That just popped up, so I thought I'd keep it for the crack.
You need to know about your toxic toilet paper. This is going to surprise you. one of the most toxic things that goes right into our bloodstream, and I'm going to give you a solution. Number one, the chlorine used to make this so pretty and white, poison, and it creates in the chemical reaction something called dioxins, extremely toxic. And there's one more problem. In that process, to make this paper stronger when it gets wet, they use formaldehyde. Okay, you know how toxic that is. Those 3 toxins alone make this one of the most dangerous darn things we use. Okay, I said I promised you a solution. The solution is now they're selling chlorine-free toilet paper, non-bleached toilet paper. That's the way you want to go. It's really not any more expensive.
I'm not going to lie, I was out of kitchen roll the other day when I was making a mistake, and I actually went into the bathroom and used toilet roll. So am I a tramp for using it? Absolutely. Do I regret it? No, I don't, because, you know, I've got that nice formaldehyde inside, you know.
A mind manipulation technique that I call in my books problem reaction solution. And it works like this. If you want to introduce something, say centralization of power through the United Nations, centralization of power militarily with NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the biggest military organization in the world that's expanding all the time. If you want to centralize power into fewer and fewer hands, if you did that openly and said this is what we want to do, there'd be a reaction against that. People would say, hey, this is a fascist state you want to create. We're not having this. But through this technique of problem reaction solution, you can actually manipulate people to demand you do what you want to do anyway. So it works like this. First of all, you create the problem, but you get someone else to be blamed for it. You then report that problem through the media in the way you want it reported, because the media is owned by the same people that own the banks and etc. You get the public to react to your problem by saying something must be done, this can't go on, what are they going to do about it? And at that point, they, who have covertly created the problem and blame someone else, who've gleaned that reaction of do something, then offer the solution to the problems they have created. So if you take the world wars, after the First World War, in which the financial centers of London and Wall Street, etc., funded all sides, power on this planet was in fewer hands than ever before. After the Second World War, it was even fewer hands.
Some people may not like David Icke, and I personally think he's not all there half the time either, to be fair, but he does make some valid points at times. And, you know, when you listen to what he's saying there, the first thing that kind of comes to my mind anyway is when, you know, when Umbrella released their bioweapon onto the world, you know, so, but he does bring some valid points at times, as crazy as he is at times too, of course.
After the Oscar, I just really needed to hug my mum and just be with my sisters and go back home.
But you know, I just feel like artists in general, especially like certain demographics of artists, are less appreciated or remembered. Like no matter what they do, they may never get their credit or whatnot.
Going tonight? Okay. Wait, I actually need to. The nails are incredible.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you? Wait, do you want to interview me?
Yeah.
Sam Smith and Lil Nas, I mean, what can you say there? You know, if they were dogs, they'd have them put down. Like.
On now to the latest gender madness in Scotland. And primary schools in the country have started appointing children as LGBT champions. What? Pupils are also being urged to ask kids as young as 4 if they are gay, lesbian, or trans. Well, I'm joined now by Keith Jordan, who's the founder of Our Duty Group. Welcome to the show, Keith. What can you say about this absolutely astonishing 4-year-olds hardly...
So at schools in Scotland, they're going to be having the LGBT monitor who's going to go around to children as young as 4 and ask them what their pronouns are, I guess. Scotland, 4 years old. It's all fucked up.
When is this nightmare going to stop? You know, it's so clear to see that the children are being attacked at this stage, and us as adults, you know, we live in a generation and a society now where everyone's afraid to speak up, everyone's afraid to stand up for what's right, and you know, people have a fear of being classed out of society or being deemed as a bad person or whatever it is. I say screw all that. You know, stand up for what's right, because at the end of the day, if we can't stand up for our young ones, for that generation, then that generation has no hope of standing up for themselves.
You know what your problem is? You're smart. Too smart. You overthink because your mind moves at 1,000,000 miles a minute. You're sad because you're not fooled by the world like everyone else. You don't get along with most people because they just don't look at things the way you do. You think you're dumb because you're smart enough to know you don't know everything. Your problem is you're too smart. And happiness in intelligent people is one of the rarest things I know.
I find this to be so true when it comes to intelligent people and happiness, you know. But does it describe you, you know? But that's me for the weekend, guys. I hope you enjoyed the creepy TikTok compilation. Smash that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and smash that like button. And until Monday, guys, please stay safe. Have a great weekend. Look after yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you then.